Hi there, I'm Anya from Peony and Time, and today I'm going to be teaching my dog to knit. Just kidding, that's not happening. I couldn't think of an interesting intro. Alright, so today I'm going to be trying for the first time this loops and threads. Okay, you guys, this is my second video that I'm filming today, and in both of them I had to say loops and threads, and I keep on calling it loops and freds. Like Fred made this. Okay, and it's really annoying and cracking me up. Okay, this is the first time I've tried the loops and threads Free Spirit yarn. It's kind of like, I feel like it's maybe their version of wool roving, like this for the giant yarn blankets. It's obviously considerably smaller. It's like, well, I was gonna say it's maybe like half the size. I feel like it's a little bit, yeah, it's not quite as fluffy. Yeah, this stuff is, the Merino is just fluffier, I guess. Anyhow, so this is not quite as large, but it's still, you know, but it's fairly close. Anyhow, okay. All right, so initial thoughts. I've heard from a couple people who have used this before, and they said that they felt like it did fall apart and kind of shed a lot more than the wool does. I feel like that seems, based on the way it looks here as I'm looking at it, it does seem like it does like maybe shed and get like a little bit fuzzier than the wool does initially. And that would make sense. I mean, this is like 60% polyester and then 20% acrylic and 20% wool. So since it's only 20% wool, it doesn't have all of those natural fibers that are like interlocking and kind of holding it together a little better. So that makes sense, but yeah, it definitely does seem like a little bit fuzzier, but yeah, it's really soft. I'm excited to try it. I thought this blue was really pretty. Okay, that was like 2 bands around here. They're really strong, really tough. Okay, I have to get some scissors. Okay, so remove this packaging. One thing interesting on this, so I'm using the, I'm using the color Dusty Blue, it's called. The other loops and threads, I use the Wild and Free to make the giant yarn dog bed, and that stuff is machine washable. And this stuff, it definitely says, don't do that. It's hand wash warm, dry flat, don't iron, and no dry cleaning. So, okay. So this stuff is pretty delicate. Yeah. All right, so it's in this nice big chunk. I got 3 skeins, and I'm hoping they'll make kind of a, you know, like a decent sized small throw blanket. I'm figuring I'll have to cast on a few more stitches than I would for, I think I oftentimes only would do like 6 to 8 stitches across for one of these guys. Gosh, I don't even know. But this is definitely thinner. So I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna try like 12. Let's just try that and see. It'll be fun. Okay, I'm gonna do the long tail cast on, which is my preference. I thought for a minute when I was thinking about doing this video, I was like, oh, would it be fun to maybe just like make this a whole like experience and maybe do this as a live? Cause I'm fine doing like videos and being able to edit when I say dumb stuff, but it's a little bit nerve-wracking, the idea of going live. But also, I feel like that might be kind of boring to just be like, okay, here I am still knitting. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, wow, that really is not. Let's do 14. 13, 14. Okay, okay, yeah, that's gonna bother me. I'm gonna pull this out and shorten it just a little bit because I really don't want to waste that much yarn. Okay, so this is 14 stitches. I still ended up with kind of a tail, but oh well, it'll be fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and arm knit this instead of just like knitting on my hands like I often would, because or like I often show in my tutorials, because I feel like, especially with a material that I'm not as familiar with, that maybe this will just like help keep it a little more even. Keep the stitches a little more even. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry if the dog is noisy. He's so chill and loves just like hanging around and cuddling and sleeping during the daytime. And then as soon as I turn the camera on and start talking, he's like, oh my gosh, I feel like we should be hanging out right now. And yeah, anyhow, so the chew that I got for him is a little bit noisy, but I'm not sure what else to give him. So thanks for your patience. I'll figure out something. Okay, so it's definitely really soft. It's really like a pleasant, like it feels nice to work with. Honestly too, I do really love arm knitting because it's nice to, with the hand knitting, you know, you're kind of like bending over the whole time, and it's kind of nice to be able to just sit here and just go back and forth. Do you guys knit from the inside? Do you go from the inside of the skein or the outside of the skein? I always do the inside because I hate how it like flops around if you do the outside. Wow, this is riveting conversation. Thank goodness we're not doing this live. Oh. All right, and I'm going to spread this out after this row and see how wide this is. I'm not sure really how far like these skeins are gonna go, so I don't want it to be a weird shape. Although I guess that is the nice thing with giant yarn, is it works up so fast that even if it were like something really weird, you just pull it out and redo it. Ooh, I do love that long tail cast on. It's so nice and stretchy. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Okay, initially, man, there for sure is a difference. I bet this would look a little better if maybe I was actually using needles or making this just a little bit smaller. I feel like you can definitely tell with the acrylic, it gets like a little bit more crimped looking. Like, yeah, instead of the wool tends to be like a lot smoother. But it's also, it's also really pretty and really soft. Okay, so here we go so far. Okay, I'm really debating here. I'm not sure, like I was saying, it's a lot easier to just knit on your arms, but I'm kind of thinking that maybe it's making the stitches a little bit too large, which is gonna make this look a little bit sloppier. So I might, because you know, that can sometimes make a big difference between yarn, really like showing off yarn to its best advantage. What do you think? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I should pull this out and maybe just knit it up by hand like I do in most of my videos, and then make the stitches a little bit smaller, make it look a little bit tidier. I think it looks fine. Coffee break. I don't know, I'm really debating, guys. I'm not sure. Like, it looks nice, but I feel like it might look nicer if the stitches were just a little bit smaller. Let's try it. It'll be fine. I will mean it will be narrower though so what that means, if I want it the same width, I should definitely add on a couple stitches though to the sides. Cause I feel like that's a really nice, that's a nice little throw blanket width right there. Yeah, so that was 14 stitches. Maybe I'll still be doing smaller ones. I'll just do, let's try 16 stitches. I'm almost to the end of the skein though, and I got 3 of them, so I want it to be long enough. Maybe we'll just do 15 stitches. I don't know. This is all just a bunch of guesswork. I'm gonna leave these stitches that I cast on and then just quickly cast on 2 more because I still have, oh, where'd it go? This one. I still have some tail left. So we'll just do 16 there. Okay. And now we will, I think that should be fine. I want it to be stretchy enough. So I'm just thinking maybe I'll make these stitches like the size of 3 fingers maybe then and see how that works. Okay, I'm just a few rows in with making the stitches the size of 3 fingers instead of just doing it on my arm, and I do think it looks better. So that's cool, I guess. Yeah, I definitely think this is looking a lot better. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. Kind of see there a little bit. Can you see too, Clue? Good boy. Okay, so I reached the end of the first skein here. I'm really glad I went back and changed it to a smaller size instead of knitting it on my arm because it really does look way better, in my opinion. I mean, either looks fine. It just depends on what you're going for, but don't you think that looks a lot better? I think so. I'm happier with it. Okay. Yeah, so what I'm wondering about is combining these skeins because I know how I do it for wool, but so I'm just gonna try it that way by kind of like flattening this out a little bit, like pulling it apart and flattening it out a little bit. Since this isn't a tutorial video, I'm not gonna give you like a total, I won't bore you with like a total close-up of everything that I'm doing here. But basically I'm just like kind of like pulling this apart and flattening it out a little bit. Oh my gosh, no, you don't need to be involved. Settle. Good boy, settle. He's such a sweetie, he just always wants to be like involved in whatever you're doing. So, anyhow, so I'm just kind of like stretching out and like flattening this out a little bit, and then am going to kind of like lay these like kind of together and then wrap one around the outside and then just kind of like I don't know. So this is what works well for wool, but see the problem is that wool has like the little like kind of like hook scales sort of on the outsides of each strand of fiber, so it like kind of like helps it to interlock and stick well together, which is what makes it felt. Anyhow, but this, since it only has like 20% of the wool fiber in it, it doesn't, I mean there's hardly any of those hooks in there. Anyhow, okay. So what we're just gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of like, okay, just like brushing it in a little bit, and yeah, okay, we're just gonna kind of go like that. And then I think I'm just gonna knit with it and see if it just, so I did like, what is that, like 7-ish inches, I don't know, of like overlap there, and I'm just gonna knit with it and see if it'll just stay in place, since like these stitches are like kind of small anyway. I know that there must be a better option for this that I just is not occurring to me right now in the moment. So whoever you are, who's watching this and going, oh my gosh, don't do it that way. That's the worst idea ever. You must do it this, like there's such a simpler way to do this. Hit me up in the comments and let me know your wisdom. Because I know there's someone out there who has a better idea than doing this. But ooh, I probably should have pulled out some of these fibers too to like make it so it would have matched the size a little better, because just doubling it up does make this stitch larger than the rest of the stitches. So there's that. Honestly, I'm just not that worried about it though, so. Let's see. It might bother me though. I feel like I might just see that every time I look at it. Okay, we're gonna try one more thing. It kind of pulls together okay. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just like pull out some of these fibers a little bit out of the end here. Make sure my dog does not eat these. Wow, it's interesting. This does, how long are these? Wow, this is such an interesting product. So I'm just kind of pulling out some to just kind of make the overall bulk of this section that I'm combining a little bit smaller. And now we'll do that again, kind of like flattening this out a little bit and putting them together. And then kind of like wrapping that around. Okay. We'll just try it. We'll see what happens. I think that looks a little bit better. Yeah, I feel like that worked a little bit better. Okay. Yeah, you can't really tell a huge difference there, I think. I mean, hopefully, once I get a few rows past it, won't be like, oh my gosh, I can't see anything else but that. Yeah, okay. I think this will be good. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep on knitting until I use up this next skein. Okay, so I finished knitting up the second skein. So it's looking really good. It's actually, this is a lot more material than I was expecting. So, I don't know, maybe I should have, I probably should have cast on more stitches. This is gonna be like a pretty long, narrow blanket. But, I mean, I guess that's okay. Anyhow, I am really glad though that I went back and switched it to being the smaller stitches. I think it looks way better. I mean, they're not perfectly consistent looking, but I think it looks a lot better than it did. So anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and add in the third skein of yarn. Ugh. Man, I don't know though. So in retrospect, so I cast on 16 stitches. I definitely could have cast on like, I feel like 20 maybe would have been a good number to cast on, and then just go from there. But also, you know, I suppose if you wanted kind of like a longer, narrower one, like to go across the end of your bed, then maybe it would be like just the right size. So anyhow, at this point, I'm just gonna continue and then see how it looks. So yeah, and that, I feel like that the join looks pretty good. I don't think you can really tell too much where it is. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and try that same method again for finishing this. So again, I'm just kind of like spreading this apart kind of thin and pulling out some of the fibers here, which is like surprisingly easy to do. So I feel like this might snag and pull out pretty easily. I don't know. It'll probably, yeah. So if someone has a better idea for method for joining these, please let me know. I feel like this is probably going to work fairly well, and I just really didn't want to have like a knot that would be bulky and then ends to weave in on either side that would add to the bulk and then just, you know, maybe pop out, you know. So yeah, I think this should work fine. All right, and then I'm just gonna keep on knitting. I feel like it looks pretty good though. Like yeah, not bad. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just about done with this last skein. And then, so I'm just gonna make this last row of stitches a little bit looser so that it will cast off nicely. So I'm gonna knit these ones, I think, on my arm. So finish knitting that last row, and then I'm gonna start on the opposite side, and then just do pop that one stitch over the next one, over the next one. Okay, and then I'll just pull this through that last stitch to kind of snug that down, and that's it. So, you know, I'm actually pretty impressed with how this worked up. So, like I was saying, I definitely think I could have cast on more stitches. So I think next time, if I was gonna using 3 skeins, I would definitely cast on at least 20 stitches, maybe like 22 or 24 even, just to make it kind of a more of a throw blanket shape. But look, like really look how nice this looks. But yeah. Like really not bad. I feel like you can definitely tell, like it doesn't have that like high quality, really luxury look that I feel like the Merino has. But I think it's really pretty, it's really soft. And since it's a lot more economically priced, you know, like I wouldn't feel bad at all about just kind of tossing this around a little more. Although, I mean, I have heard that it does shed a fair amount, so. But yeah, overall, I really think it's not bad. It actually knit up a lot better than I was expecting. So, yeah, not bad, loops and threads, not bad. All right, well, thanks so much for joining me on this fun little experiment, and I'll see you next time.